It's that time of year again, January, and Martin Luther King Jr. Day is coming up, which is awesome because, he was a great guy, did some awesome stuff for America, and every time you hear that "I have a dream" speech, a tear comes to my eye. Like seriously, like I cannot listen to that speech without crying. Um, I also get the day off from school, so that's really awesome. So, anyway, there's already talk about Black History Month coming up in February, and I think that's interesting. So, in the spirit of the season and in the spirit of the holiday, I decided to make a video about racism. Racism in America. And this is not going to be a popular one, I think. Or maybe it's going to be infamous. It's like, yeah. I'm going to step on some toes tonight, I think. So, anyway. Yeah. Racism really sucks. And what people don't realize is that racism can be bigotry against any race, whether it's blacks or whites or Hispanics or Hindi people or Asian people or anybody. Bigotry is bigotry. It doesn't matter who it's directed against. It's still hate. It's still bigotry. It's still discrimination. It's still racism. And regardless of who it's directed toward, it's still wrong. It is so wrong. So, what irks me is that it seems like, and please don't get me wrong here, because I love black people and I love what they've been able to accomplish in this culture and this society in the last 40 years, since the movement started in the 60s. More power to you. But the thing is, it's wrong for the black culture to, I guess, take revenge on the white culture, or the white section of society, the white community, and justify it because they were discriminated against first so many years ago. So, what do I mean by that? Okay, here's what I mean. First off, black community has an entire month set aside dedicated to honoring them. Okay, I can deal with that. But if there was an entire month set aside for white people and white history, that would be considered racist, and the ACLU would be all over that. I went into a bookstore last week. It was a Christian bookstore, but there was an entire section called Black Interests, or African American interests. Why wasn't there a whole corner of the store devoted to white interests and European American interests? Why? Because that would be considered racist, and you could get your ass sued for that. But it's okay to have a blacks interest section. That's not racist according to them. There's a circus that comes to Charlotte every year, and it's put on by black people, and it's directed toward black people, advertised as for black people. And well, I don't have anything against black people going to a circus. To have an entire circus devoted to them and white people generally discouraged from going, that's racist. There's a neighborhood in downtown Charlotte that is built for black people. It is built by a black person organization, to help poor black people find places to live. And it's an entire neighborhood devoted just for black people, and only black people can live there. As far as I know, I don't know all the red tape that's involved or the politics that are involved, but it's labeled, this is for the poor black community of Charlotte. So, if there was a neighborhood set aside for poor white people, because there are white people in America who are poor, who have single parents, and they make less than $15,000 a year, and they raise 4 kids on that. There are those people out there, maybe not in as many numbers, but there are those people. And if they had an entire neighborhood set aside for them, if they had an entire circus set aside for them, that would be racist because it was for white people, and the ACLU would be all over that. Why are minorities, not just black people here, but minorities, whether it's Hispanics or Asians or Hindis or blacks or anybody else, if you're a minority group, you're more likely to get a college scholarship from the government than a white person is. So isn't that racist? Because you're putting down white people because you think that we have all the advantages and the minorities have to pull themselves up by their bootstraps every single day. That's not fair. I mean, I'm poor. I work a part-time job. I don't have a lot of money. I'm now in a single-parent household, and I've never been rich. And I'm having to pay out of pocket for my college education. I don't think that's fair. Where I have a friend who I knew in high school. She was black, and she went straight to college and had it paid for by the government because she was in a minority. She got the scholarship. Clothing labels. FUBU, for us, by us. It's made by black people for black people. That's racist. Now, Tommy Hilfiger, from what I understand, meant for his clothes to be for white people. And that's racist too. So if you'll notice, I never wear anything by FUBU or Tommy Hilfiger because they're both racist companies filled with hate and bigotry and discrimination. So don't wear either one of those labels, those name brands. I mean, they're bullshit, okay? BET network on television, Black Entertainment Television. Why isn't there a WET? White Entertainment Television, just for white people, made by white people, for white people. Why? Because it sounds like it's from the KKK. But it's okay for black people to do in this country, and it's not racist then. So what I'm saying here in this video is, love black people, love white people, love Asian people, love Hispanics, love minorities, love majorities. There's no reason for discrimination. There's no reason why we can't all get along, and there's no reason for you or anybody of any nation, of any people group or race or creed or anything to, no matter how much discrimination or bigotry was put upon you for centuries or decades or years or months or whatever, there's no reason for you to go back and be racist back to them once it's legalized and then justify it just because you were discriminated against first. Two wrongs don't make a right. It was wrong for white people to be racist and bigotry and to show bigotry against black people and discriminate against them, 50 years ago, 200 years ago, 300 years ago. It was wrong. I'm not saying that it was justifiable. It was evil, it was demonic, and I'm sorry for it, and on behalf of all white people, I apologize. But it's not right for black people or any minority group to think that they are entitled to something special, think that they are owed something special, think that they have the right and are justified to be racist back just to get even. Revenge never solves anything, okay? It's all discrimination. And you're not going to... See, people 50 years ago were not fighting for black people to have a better position than white people. They were fighting for equality of the races. And so how is having all these advantages to black people, given to black people, how is that equality? White people don't get that. I don't get a college scholarship just for being white. I don't have my own television network. I don't have my own circus I can go to. I don't have my own neighborhood I can live in that's separate from the rest of the world. I mean, to have your own special book section in a bookstore, to have your own special circus, to have your own neighborhood, to have your own television network, that is still segregation. You're segregating yourselves from the rest of society. Sure, it's an improvement. It's not like you're being pushed down, pushed into a corner, but you're still separating yourself, and therefore it's still segregation. So I advocate boycotting these things. Like, I boycott Tommy Hilfiger and FUBU. I boycott BET, and I don't really like taking advantage of scholarships just because of whatever race or nationality I might be of. I think that's unfair to everybody else. So, anyway, that's what I think. Stop the hate, stop the bigotry, stop the cycle of racism, give it up and just love people, alright? Just chill out and love people and treat everyone fairly, alright? I love you. Have a good night. Bye.